How difficult has it been for you guys out there day to day to cover a campaign like this and do it well? Is there going to be a lot of reflection, you think, in the end?
I hope there's a lot of reflection. I hope there's a lot of reflection after every cycle, and there's usually a decent amount of reflection. We promise to learn some lessons, and unfortunately, some of us quickly forget half of them. There is a lot to be learned about this. We did invest our thinking too much at the beginning in the Clinton juggernaut. Of course Senator Clinton was going to win. The Clinton name is the gold standard in Democratic politics. Of course she's going to win. And so when people say now, well, you haven't spent enough time looking at Barack Obama's background, a lot of that was because people were looking at Senator Clinton early on as the front runner and thinking, well, this guy, he's going to mount a good race, but he can't possibly beat her. And then he does, and we're on into the general election. I think there's some very legitimate criticism that we did not treat all of the candidates in the Democratic race, but particularly the top 2 or 3, equally because of the Clinton obsession in the national media. It is a very fair point. We need to learn that lesson. Once you move on from there, I do think that some of the criticism is justified. I think some of the criticism not so justified in that we have to adapt to the world we live in. And the technology explosion has given people, voters, individuals, an amazing opportunity. They can learn everything they want to learn about these candidates without us.
Instantly, too, it seems.
Go on the internet, look anywhere, look on the candidates' websites, but don't just trust them. They're advocating their candidate. Go somewhere else. But because that's available, I think it allows us, and it should force us, to rethink the way we cover campaigns and steer people to it, encourage it to them. We use the CNN.com website, and on the air as much as we can say, listen, we can only tell you so much here. Go here. We can be a lot better. We can be a lot better. But without a doubt, there are some lessons to be learned from our own mistakes and failures in this campaign.
And what about Governor Palin? You know, all the research and polling we've done indicates that most people, no matter what your party affiliation is, believe that she was given somewhat of a raw deal by the press, or treated much differently than her counterparts.
Part of that is maybe legitimate. Part of that may be how the McCain campaign put her out there. We whine too much sometimes. If the McCain campaign doesn't want to make Sarah Palin available for interviews, okay, just say they won't make her available for interviews. We don't have to jump up and down and scream and cry about that.
Is that good for democracy, though?
From a purist standpoint, no. But in today's democracy, if she's doing talk radio, if she's going to town halls, if she's out campaigning, we should make note of it. We should make note of it. It's not our job to whine or complain.
Your job to adjust, I guess.
Just tell people what's happening. Observe what's happening. And if they think that's important, if a voter thinks it's important that she's not doing the Sunday shows, then the voter will make their decision based on that. Other voters would say, so what? Why do I want to listen to you? I want to see her in a town hall. I want to see her giving a speech. So we need to observe, not object so much, if that makes any sense to you. Some of that, and there is, I say this all the time, and many of my business disagree with me, but one of the things I love about what I do is I travel. And there are a lot of people who they're wonderful people. They're well-intentioned, don't get me wrong. But they sit in New York or Washington, and they don't come to South Carolina or North Carolina or Ohio or any other swing state out here and actually talk to human beings or watch what it's like to stand outside of a factory that just shut down with people. And so their attitudes are influenced by the fact that they live in Washington or New York and they don't travel enough. And the criticism is that makes them elitist. I would just say sometimes there are some people who are very influential in our business who are somewhat out of touch.